Welcome to part 9. Details is here, and I don't know. What do you think we should do tonight? Put the motor in it?
Drink a beer.
Drink a beer and put the motor in it. That's a plan. All right, we're actually getting near the end of this project. Weren't kidding when we talked about dropping the motor in tonight. I still got to do a couple wiring things, replace the voltage regulator. Oh, Farley would like to play tennis ball. Farley's a little wound up tonight. So, I got some little things. I got to get my brakes figured out because I switched to this top loader reverse chain case. But we're getting real close. I don't think it'll happen on this episode, but maybe you never know.
Never know.
We might clean the carbs, and cleaning the carbs is always the last thing before we take it for a rip. So stick around. Let's see how far we get this time. All right, so Dennis and I are looking over what we got to do before we put it in. I've only identified one thing I got to do before I put the motor in, and that's the kill switch wire. It's going to put a little 1/4-inch spade plug on it. Otherwise, I can work on the brakes when the motor's in.
It's still a bit dirty down in there, John.
Okay, we're going to let Details go to town with that. Then we're going to drop the motor in, I think. All right, so we're looking up under the sled, and you can see the bolt there. And the problem is the socket doesn't point at it worth of crap. Here, you want to hold the camera, Dennis?
Certainly will.
So it's great to be able to put your sled so high up in the air that I can see the bolt. But it's shitty to get this stupid thing to start on it. Oh, man.
And then the swivel just wants to wobble.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's gotta be. Feels like it's starting. I got it. Show them up top what we did. So we had a vice grip up here. We just had a vice grip up here holding the bolt down. That's all we did, and I got it on the bottom. So that was not a lot of fun, but it's doable, and we're going to run them home. All right, we're just routing cooling hoses. So we no longer have old side loader brakes. We got top loader brakes, but this thing looks like it's going to be just fine back here. Looks like it's going to work out just fine on the reverse chain case. This one, well, we got to splice into because I'm going to route it up here around the exhaust, because obviously if I routed it where it was, the reverse chain case jams it directly into the exhaust. And then this one, we're just going to get a length of whatever diameter hose this was and just loop it in. That's that.
Wires plugged in.
Wires look pretty good.
Almost time to clean a carb.
It's getting close. Brakes are going to go real quick. Got to do a little fuel system plumbing. We're doing pretty good, though. I'm going to pull out the stupid plastic fitting and put a brass one in. I know I got a brass one from an Indy somewhere. Do a new hose inside the tank. I don't know, just the normal stuff. Just keep going. Well, we're going to call it for tonight. It's just Tuesday. We'll be back at it again. I'll be out here tomorrow night. Thursday, well, with a little luck, Lonnie's coming over. Although,
One-handed.
Lonnie,
We'll let him explain.
Yeah. Lonnie might come over, but he won't be giving me a round of applause. All right, so we're going to call it there, and I'll come out tomorrow night and start tidying stuff up and doing the little this and that that's left on it, and won't be long, and the bastard will be ready to run.
She's bolted down tight.
She's bolted in. Well, I said we're done for Tuesday, but I'll just show you one thing I got to do right away tomorrow night. How stupid is this? I put this bolt with the long end up. Well, that isn't going to clear the exhaust pipe. Hell, I don't know. I might have to put the whole rod end under. No, I like the rod end on top. But if I got to put it under to clear it, I will.
I don't think it'll fit under.
I don't know if it will. I'll go look at some other sleds and figure that out, but this is not going to work. That's going to jam right into the pipe. Dope. So I'm bleeding my brakes, you know, top loader brakes because of the reverse chain case, and I hear a lot of gurgling and a little investigation, and sure enough, that brake switch is just hemorrhaging brake fluid. So I dug around. That isn't even the right style for this sled. This sled needs the older style with the two little buttons, I call it. So I dug around and found one, and I thought, well, I better check and make sure that it's good. So you can see I just got some alligator clips there on the buttons, hooked up to the voltmeter, and I got my handy air hose here. So let's see if I can get myself situated quick without making you too seasick. Get the air hose right on that end. Anyways, it goes right to 0 ohms like it should when I apply air pressure. So this is a good one. Plus it matches my wiring harness, so it's a double win. There we go. Hey, look who's here tonight.
I made it.
So it's Thursday night, and I don't know, you probably just watched a segment where I dicked around with the steering for a whole evening, and here I am, ready to do it again, except for I got some moral support this time.
Moral support. I got at least one good hand anyway.
Yeah,
so
it'll hold.
I can hold a beer.
He can hold a beer. We'd Velcro it right to that thing if we needed to. Add some Velcro koozie.
Yeah,
It'll all be good. All right, let me show you what I got going on here. And I spent a little time researching it today. So here's what's going on. This rod end right here has no built-in misalignment spacers. And the one that came off did. Let's see. Where's an example? Here I got one. This is a great big huge rod end from a radius rod. But you see how it's kind of got these wings, these built-up areas off of there. I'm going to have to go to one with no misalignment spacers that's a left hand, and it's got to go under here. And I'm going to have to shorten up a bolt, all to keep the bolt from crashing into my Y pipe. Oh yeah, but there's a catch. See down here? See this nice shiny mark? Somebody's had this thing together wrong forever. I got to move these rod ends down underneath, and then there's this bracket. So, I don't know. And then I get to redo my whole alignment from scratch with the motor in the chassis. So it's going to be awesome. So I'm going to get after it right now. Or me and Lonnie will drink a beer and shoot the shit. One or the other. Stay tuned to find out what actually happens. All right, so I got my tie rods flipped to the bottom. And wherever that little sheet metal stop piece went, yeah, that's not on. The bolts go at a taper towards the center of the vehicle, and these holes are too wide. I don't think it was ever meant for this thing. I don't know. That's probably, what do you think, later Indy?
Yeah,
laying around this shop, probably mid-90s.
Mid-90s,
yeah. Yeah. So the steering stops on these old Indies they're out here at the skis. I don't need that stop in under the hood. No. So here's the situation. This is with my super low, thin rod end, and you can see the bolt head is just clearing the bulkhead and the tunnel. The tie rod does clear over there now, all the way through the cycle. So that's a win. We got that squared away. But obviously, when I put the pipe on, the diameter is bigger. And also, I don't want to run a nylock nut. I want to run a steel crimp nut because it's right on top of the flipping exhaust, right? So what I got to do is figure out where one of those crimp nuts is. Here's one. So if I put a crimp nut up next to that and then push it all the way up and count how many threads I can cut off and still be engaged in the crimp nut. So that's what we're doing now. Ain't it fun? Well, how's that for tight? Now, we don't have both skis connected up, but the furthest we could push it, it doesn't really touch, so we're going with it.
Yeah.
Pretty custom. I don't know what else to say. And we just clear down here. So, yeah. Time to align it again. I think you guys just watched a video on that. Well, the good news is the toe didn't get changed very much by flipping those tie rod ends from the top to the bottom. If I shine a little light on it there, you can see that looks like it changed by about 2 threads. So no big deal. So we're just going to verify that the steering's still straight ahead and lock her down.
Ready?
Yep. All right, it's been a good night. Let me grab this camera and I'll show you what we've been up to. Well, we both
Getting some stuff done. I even got dirty.
There you go. Wait. Oh, there's a smudge on there. All right, so we got this front steering all done. The alignment's back together. Nothing's going to hit. We're pretty good on that. And I like to say that's all we did, but I also got this fancy little gold anodized aluminum recoil thing, got the rope routed. And then the last thing I want to show you is these hose barbs. Super nice brass ones. Listen, folks, you're gonna get this motor warm. If you use those cheap plastic hose barbs, I've seen a lot of them fail. You know, off-road on a Jeep, it's like a given. On a sled, yeah, you're taking your chances. So I'm going to put the link up for these. I think these are 3/4 that I use to splice the hoses under here. It'll be in the description below. And Speaking of below, when you scroll down there, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit that damn subscribe button. Hey, remember these things from early on in the project? Stupid little wire-rooting Scotch locks. Just want to make sure you know I changed them out. I used good heat shrink butt splices on there. And I upgraded the regulator too. No more of these. Just say no to Scotch locks. Love my natties. All right, well, it's Friday night, and I've got the list of the last stuff to do on this sled. So, Indy 600 final to do. Here's what I got. I got to connect and route the cooling hoses, pressure check the cooling, fill the chain case, put the clutches on and align them, put on the exhaust. I got to redo the fuel lines, the filter, put a shutoff in it, clean the carbs, sink the carbs, install the hood and other little cool looking stuff, do the track tension and alignment, and then it's test run time. So this video series has been going on for quite a while, and I want to get to the bullwhip. That's actually here at the bottom of the list is the bullwhip. So I'm going to get after this thing, and my goal is by the end of the day tomorrow, we should be making some test runs on this thing. All right, so here's the cooling hose setup. Got this little chunk with a 90 on the end. It's a little floppy. I want to control it. So what I'm going to do is zip tie it down. I'm going to drill a couple holes straight down through this ledge in the pan. You won't be able to see them unless you are really looking, and tie it down and control it better. Keep it away from the exhaust and the reverse lever. All right, here that is zip tied. Things are pretty good there. I'm pretty happy. Pressure check's fine. So this pressure checker, this is a stamp pressure checker for cars. I've had it for quite a while. ST259 in a good old metal case. That tells you how old it is. So I always pressure check them before I fill them because, I don't know, I don't like the green mess on the shop floor, and I definitely don't want Farley to get into that. Well, I just got bit. This hose here is right on the exhaust can. I can't have that. That'll melt through. So I'm going to have to get real clever with my routings. I've only got one of those brass hose barbs left in stock. So let me dig around with my hoses and see what I can come up with. Brad's here. He just showed up. So here's what I figured out. I found this other chunk of hose with the 90 on it. Used my last hose barb. Got it routed back there. No big kinks. It is armored. It does have clearance to the brakes, and the brakes only go up from or the reverse. I mean, and reverse only goes up when you shift it. That's as far as it goes. And you know the hoses will sag when they get warm and get a little weight in them, and that clearance will only get better. At least that's what I'm telling myself. But clear is clear, so we're going with it. All right, so here's my old pickup line. It was actually pretty good, pretty flexible. Has a nice brass weight on the end. I'll be saving that. But I had to go out to the junkyard, and I found this one from an Indy that's the exact same thing but brass. And then this weight's got a screen on it. And the hose is the same length. It's just curled up. But the thing I really wanted to show you is, you can see I put a black mark on the top there when the hose is dangling down. So I always do that so that I know, I mean, the hose is going to sag down over time, but, you know, it does get a certain amount of let's call it a banana shape to it. And, you know, you don't want this thing pointing up at the sky right away when you're trying to run it around the yard. So I just use that mark to make sure that it's pointed at the bottom of the tank when I'm doing my initial runs. All right, so that's in. And I want to tell everybody, in case you haven't had this bad experience yet and you didn't watch Lonnie's video on his TX340, don't over-tighten that, because you can actually split the tank at that seam. So use a little caution there. All right, we made some progress on the list. We're down to clean and sync carbs, but we are going to skip ahead and we're going to install the hood tonight. So Brad's still here. He's been helping a ton.
We're going to get her done.
We're going to get her done. So we got the fuel system done. You can see I got the shutoff zip tied up here. And we're running a Wix filter. It is a Wix. Let me get my cheaters out. It is a Wix 33001. That's a 1/4 inch in and out filter. So those are pretty cool. I'll put the link to those. I mean, you should be able to find it. It's a Wix filter, but I'll put the link to those on Amazon in the description, just like with these clamps that fit the hose just right. So we got that all done. As you can see, the exhaust is on. The cooling's routed in a safe manner where it's not going to melt. Clutches, I'll walk around for the clutches. We got the clutches on. The clutches are aligned. Here's another look at the fuel there. So that's it. It's time for us to put the hood on this thing, and that's probably about it for tonight. But it's only Friday night. I think we're gonna ride her this weekend. Yeah, I think this will be this should be, unless something really crazy happens, this should be the last installment on this sled.
Nice.
Victory, Natty. The hood's on. She's coming together. End of Friday night. We've got the carbs to do, and we got some cosmetic work, and got to do the track tension and alignment. But I don't know. I think all that happens tomorrow. We take her for a rip, and
by Sunday Fun Day.
I think by Sunday Fun Day, these people will be watching this video.
Sounds pretty good.
I think that's the plan. All right, signing off for Friday night. We'll see you in the morning. You know what time it is, and if I'm cleaning the carbs, you know what's going to happen later today. Well, here's some good news. Things are looking pretty clean in the carb department. They're still all making a trip through the ultrasonic. I'll finish blowing them apart and breaking out the individual pieces, but no corrosion. That's awesome. I love the ultrasonic cleaner. These things are spotless inside and out. It's great. All right, a couple more things I'm doing just as a precaution. I'm replacing the little kit that you can do for the choke cables. These tend to break a lot. This one looks pretty weathered. I don't trust it. And then same thing for the spark plug caps. Got some new caps. I'm going to throw those on. And then after that, it's going to be time to fire it up. Hell yeah! First fire! All right, gonna check track tension and alignment. It's time to take her for a rip.
So what you got going on in here, Nutter?
Well, the part sled from Princeton is paying off. We got another caliper to try. Let's see if we can get that 600 ripping properly. I'm not going to say that first hit was a complete disappointment, but geez, sure could have been better. Be better with this, hopefully. All right, well, after a quick panic and a major what the F moment, it was the brakes. So if I pumped them up like this, it was locked. Locked. So went out to that Parts XLT. I think that hopefully makes it into the video. And grabbed the caliper off of that. Parts XLT from the Princeton video. If you want to go back and watch that, I'll put the thing there for that. We're good. We got brakes, and the brakes turn off when I let go. So I think we're going to try some more test hits on this thing. Well, I've never owned a sled with the name before. We named Lonnie's XLT the Purple-Headed Snow Warrior. And of course, if you watch my friend Todd's videos, I don't think Todd owns a sled that doesn't have a name. I don't know, maybe Part Sled isn't a name. But I'm naming this Indy 600 Black Betty after the Southern Rock song. I love that song. Anyways, here's a look around the sled after we added the belly pan logos and the tunnel decals. Well, I'm calling that a victory. She had a little bog off the line on the second hit, but I didn't smoke the belt because the brakes weren't stuck anymore, so that's good. And, you know, just to be fair, this isn't a grass drag sled. Right now it's 67 degrees and there's a good amount of humidity in the air. You know, most anything that's set up for winter would be boggy right now. I mean, think about it. That's how many jet sizes you change? 3? Probably 3-4 jet sizes, so whatever. It did great considering the conditions and old closed face clutch and everything else. I couldn't be happier. She's going to be an awesome trail rider. So thanks for staying with us for the length of this video, or for this series. I know it's been a lot, and if you haven't hit subscribe yet, you should hit subscribe, because the next thing up is the Scorpion Bullwhip. And oh yeah, all the patrons. I'll be right back with the patron list. So this is a great problem to have. Too many patrons to have it memorized anymore. So Aaron Shriver, Michael Johnson, Matt DeFossi, Charles Myers, Alex Sherrill, Brandon Pariseau, Dan Hassanut, Mike Jerish, Louis Brady, Jeff Eisert, and Brian Peters. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your support of the channel. To everybody else, if you want to help support the channel, check out the link to the Patreon down below, and we'll see you on the trails.